Shannon, welcome to Velvet Beauty Hub, your go-to destination for fashion stories that inspire. From iconic luxury labels to rising stars in the world of style, we take you behind the scenes to discover the people, the passion, and the philosophies that shape fashion today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating transformations in modern fashion. The incredible journey of Arc'teryx, a brand that started in a climber's basement in Vancouver and somehow became the ultimate status symbol for everyone from mountain athletes to hip-hop superstars, from Wall Street executives to Gen Z fashion enthusiasts. This is the story of how a technical outdoor gear company accidentally became one of the most coveted fashion brands in the world, and why everyone from Frank Ocean to Drake can't seem to take off their Arc'teryx jackets. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and let's explore the remarkable evolution of the dead bird that learned to fly higher than anyone ever imagined. Chapter 1. From rock solid to revolutionary vision. Picture this, it's 1989, and in a modest basement in North Vancouver, British Columbia, a passionate mountaineer named Dave Lane is hunched over a sewing machine, frustrated beyond belief. He's surrounded by climbing gear that just doesn't meet his standards. Harnesses that fail when you need them most, equipment that prioritizes cost-cutting over climber safety, and products that seem designed by people who've never actually scaled a mountain face. Lane wasn't just any climber. He was someone who understood that in the mountains, your gear isn't just equipment. It's the thin line between life and death. So he made a decision that would change the outdoor industry forever. If no one else would make the gear he needed, he'd make it himself. Thus began Rock Solid Manufacturing, a name that perfectly captured Lane's philosophy of creating uncompromising, dependable equipment. Working with just 4 sewing machines in his basement, Lane began crafting climbing harnesses that set new standards for quality and innovation. But every revolutionary needs a partner, and Lane found his in Jeremy Gard, a fellow climber who brought financial savvy and shared Lane's obsession with perfection. Together, they realized they needed a name that reflected their ambitious vision. They weren't just making gear, they were evolving the entire concept of what outdoor equipment could be. In 1991, as they prepared to enter the US market, they found their inspiration in one of nature's most fascinating creatures, the Archaeopteryx. This ancient bird-like dinosaur represented the perfect metaphor for what they were trying to achieve. A revolutionary bridge between what was and what could be. The Archaeopteryx was evolution in action, the moment when earthbound creatures learned to soar. And Lane and Gard saw their company in exactly the same light. They commissioned graphic designer Michael Hoffler to create a logo based on the Berlin specimen, the most complete Archaeopteryx fossil ever discovered, found by Jakob Niemeyer in 1875. The result was the iconic Dead Bird logo that would become one of the most recognizable symbols in both outdoor gear and high fashion. This wasn't just rebranding, it was a declaration of intent. Just as the Archaeopteryx represented a pivotal moment in evolutionary history, Arc'teryx was positioning itself to revolutionize outdoor gear through what they called accelerating evolution. The idea that every product could and should be constantly refined and improved. Chapter 2. The innovation revolution that changed everything. The early 1990s marked the beginning of Arc'teryx's legendary reputation for innovation. And it all started with a single product that would establish their credibility in the climbing world: the Vapor Harness. Created in Dave Lane's Vancouver basement using cutting-edge thermolamination technology, the Vapor Harness was unlike anything climbers had seen before. This wasn't just another piece of gear. It was a revelation that combined multiple textiles into a single, incredibly strong component, using precise applications of glue, pressure, and heat. The climbing community took notice immediately, and despite initial challenges breaking into a market dominated by established brands, the Vapor Harness quickly gained a reputation for its uncompromising quality and revolutionary design. But Lane and Guard weren't content to stop there. In 1993, they applied the same vapor technology to create the Bora backpack, proving that their innovation wasn't limited to just one product category. However, the real game changer came in 1996, when Arc'teryx managed to secure something that would transform them from a small climbing gear manufacturer into a technical apparel powerhouse: a license to use Gore-Tex material from WL, Gore & Associates. This was huge. Gore-Tex was the gold standard for waterproof, breathable fabrics, and getting a license wasn't easy. Gore was notoriously selective about their partners, but Arc'teryx's reputation for quality and innovation had already caught Gore's attention, and this partnership would prove to be the catalyst that launched Arc'teryx into the apparel world. The result was the 1998 launch of the Alpha SV jacket, described as the most advanced alpine climbing shell available. This wasn't marketing hyperbole. The Alpha SV represented a quantum leap in technical outerwear, combining Gore-Tex's advanced fabric technology with Arc'teryx's excessive attention to detail and innovative construction methods. Every seam was meticulously sealed, every zipper carefully selected, every feature tested in the harsh conditions of the coast mountains that surrounded their Vancouver headquarters. What made Arc'teryx different wasn't just their access to premium materials, but their unique design and testing process. Having the rugged terrain of British Columbia literally minutes away from their office meant their designers could prototype a product early in the week, have it manufactured in their factory later in the week, and test it in actual mountain conditions over the weekend. Monday morning would find them back in the office, critiquing performance, making edits, and beginning the process all over again. This rapid iteration cycle, combined with real-world testing in some of the world's most challenging environments, created products that weren't just theoretically superior, they were proven superior. Chapter 3: Building an Empire Through Strategic Evolution. The success of the Alpha SV jacket marked a turning point for Arc'teryx, but the team understood that sustainable growth required more than just great products. It required strategic partnerships and careful expansion. In December 2001, French sports equipment giant Salomon recognized Arc'teryx's potential and acquired the company, providing the resources and global reach needed to take the brand to the next level. This wasn't just a buyout, it was a strategic alliance that would allow Arc'teryx to maintain its innovative culture while gaining access to international markets and expanded manufacturing capabilities. Under Salomon's ownership, Arc'teryx stores began appearing around the world. And what had started as a niche climbing gear company began attracting a much broader audience of functional dressers. People who appreciated quality, technical innovation, and understated design aesthetic. But the corporate evolution didn't stop there. In 2005, Finnish retailer Amma Sports acquired Arc'teryx as part of their portfolio of premium sporting brands. bringing additional resources and global expertise. Then, in a move that would prove prophetic given Arc'teryx's eventual dominance in Asian markets, Chinese retailer Anta Sports acquired a controlling 56% stake in Amma in 2019. As Arc'teryx's product line expanded beyond climbing gear, the company made strategic decisions about how to organize their growing catalog. They developed a sophisticated product family system based on the Greek alphabet. Alpha for the most technical alpine pieces, Beta for versatile all-weather gear, Gamma for wind-resistant softshells, Delta for insulation, and so on. This wasn't just organizational convenience. It was a way to communicate the technical specifications and intended use of each product to consumers who were becoming increasingly sophisticated about outdoor gear. The brand also recognized that different markets require different approaches. While maintaining their core focus on technical performance, they began manufacturing in international markets, including China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Bangladesh, El Salvador, Laos, and Greece, to meet growing global demand while maintaining quality standards. Perhaps most importantly, Arc'teryx made a crucial decision to maintain ownership of their manufacturing capabilities. In 2016, they opened Arc1, a massive 243,000 square foot manufacturing plant in North Vancouver, making them the only major apparel manufacturer in the industry that owns its own factory. This vertical integration allowed them to maintain quality control, protect proprietary manufacturing techniques, and respond quickly to design changes. Capabilities that would prove essential as they evolved from outdoor gear specialists to unexpected fashion icons. Chapter 4: The accidental fashion revolution that nobody saw coming. Here's where the Arc'teryx story gets really interesting, because what happened next wasn't planned, strategized, or focus grouped. It was organic, unexpected, and absolutely explosive. Sometime in the mid-2010s, something extraordinary began happening on the streets of major cities around the world. Fashion-forward individuals who had probably never set foot on a mountain were suddenly wearing Arc'teryx jackets as the ultimate statement piece. This wasn't just about functionality. This was about a new kind of luxury that prioritized technical excellence over traditional status symbols. The catalyst was the rise of what fashion insiders began calling Gorpcore, a portmanteau of gear outside recreation purposes and core that described the trend of wearing minimalist, technical outdoor apparel in urban settings. Alongside brands like Patagonia, Mammoth, and Marmot, Arc'teryx became central to this movement. But there was something special about the dead bird logo that made it particularly coveted. The breakthrough moment came with the Beta LT shell jacket, most commonly worn in sleek neutrals like black and navy. Though some fashion rebels opted for bolder colours like the cobalt blue that would later become iconic. This jacket perfectly embodied what made Arc'teryx so appealing to the fashion world. It was undeniably technical and functional, but it also possessed an elegant simplicity that worked perfectly in urban environments. The fashion world really took notice when celebrities began embracing the brand. Frank Ocean was photographed wearing Arc'teryx beanies and jackets, creating a perfect fusion of high fashion sensibility and technical performance. Drake became such a devoted fan that he was regularly spotted in Arc'teryx gear, lending the brand serious streetwear credibility. Travis Scott paired a dolphin blue Arc'teryx jacket with powder blue trousers, creating looks that were simultaneously technical and stylish. But the moment that really solidified Arc'teryx's fashion credentials came when the late Virgil Abloh, the visionary designer behind Off-White and Louis Vuitton men's, featured Arc'teryx pieces in his Off-White Autumn-Winter 2020 collection. Seeing Arc'teryx jackets deconstructed and reimagined on high fashion runways was a surreal moment that demonstrated how technical outdoor gear could become high art. The collaboration wasn't just about putting Arc'teryx logos on luxury garments, it was about understanding that the brand's obsessive attention to detail, innovative construction methods, and uncompromising quality standards aligned perfectly with luxury fashion's highest aspirations. Soon, Arc'teryx pieces were being spotted at Fashion Week, worn by industry insiders who understood that true luxury wasn't about flashy logos or obvious branding. It was about owning the absolute best version of whatever you needed, whether that was a cashmere sweater or a technical shell jacket. Chapter 5. From Mountains to Mainstream: The Cultural Takeover. By the early 2020s, Arc'teryx had achieved something unprecedented in the fashion world. They had become a genuine cultural phenomenon without compromising their technical roots. Walk through Soho in New York, the streets of Shanghai, or the trendy neighborhoods of any major city, and you'd see Arc'teryx shells on everyone, from finance executives to art students, from tech entrepreneurs to musicians. The brand had transcended its outdoor origins to become what the Financial Times described as just shy of Stone Island and Montclair in terms of high-end status symbol appeal. Generation Z and Zillennials, in particular, embraced Arc'teryx as the perfect expression of their values. They wanted products that were functional, sustainable, well-designed, and authentically cool, rather than obviously branded. Arc'teryx checked every box, offering what fashion insiders called stealth wealth, products that looked understated to the uninitiated but were immediately recognizable to those in the know. The cultural impact became impossible to ignore when Arc'teryx became the subject of viral social media trends. Throughout 2022, a TikTok phenomenon emerged where individuals would shower fully clothed in Arc'teryx jackets, while British rapper YT's song Arc'teryx played in the background, demonstrating the waterproof capabilities while creating content that was equal parts functional demonstration and cultural statement. This organic social media embrace showed that Arc'teryx had achieved something most brands spend millions trying to create: authentic cultural relevance. The brand had become so embedded in youth culture that Fast Company labeled it a cult brand, while the New York Times noted that Arc'teryx was worn by both hikers and hypebeasts. A perfect summation of its crossover appeal. What made this cultural phenomenon even more remarkable was that it happened despite, or perhaps because of, Arc'teryx's refusal to chase fashion trends. While other brands were creating special lifestyle or urban collections, Arc'teryx maintained their laser focus on creating the best possible gear for mountain athletes. This authenticity became their greatest asset in the fashion world, where consumers had grown increasingly skeptical of brands that tried too hard to be cool. The irony wasn't lost on industry observers. By refusing to cater to fashion consumers, Arc'teryx had become more fashionable than brands that spent fortunes trying to capture that elusive coolness. Their mountain-first philosophy created an aspirational quality that resonated with urban consumers who might never climb a mountain, but appreciated owning gear that could handle anything nature could throw at it. Chapter 6: A Business Revolution Behind the Brand Evolution. While Arc'teryx was becoming a cultural phenomenon, equally dramatic changes were happening behind the scenes that would transform how the company operated and grew. The arrival of CEO Stuart Haselden in 2021 marked a pivotal moment in Arc'teryx's corporate evolution. Haselden brought extensive experience from brands like J.Crew, Lululemon, and Away, and he immediately recognized that Arc'teryx was at an inflection point where they could either capitalize on their cultural momentum or lose their way trying to chase too many different markets. His first major decision was to dramatically refocus the brand on what he called their mountain athlete focus. This might seem counterintuitive given their success with urban consumers, but Haselden understood something crucial. Arc'teryx's appeal to fashion consumers was directly tied to their authenticity as a technical brand. In 2021, responding to wholesaler recommendations, Arc'teryx had been making everything from dresses to checked shirts, cheaper, more generic products that diluted their brand identity. Haselden made the bold decision to eliminate these products and return to their core mission of creating the ultimate performance gear for mountain athletes. The strategy worked brilliantly. By 2024, Arc'teryx had opened 33 new stores globally, focusing on what Haselden called the vertical reinvention of Arc'teryx through direct-to-consumer retail. When he joined, the brand had fewer than 20 retail stores in North America, with an average sales volume of $1.3 million. By 2024, their 60 North American stores were achieving close to $3.5 million average volume, a nearly 170% increase in productivity per store. But the most significant business development came in February 2024, when Amer Sports, Arc'teryx's parent company, went public. While the IPO didn't meet all analyst expectations, with opening stock prices discounted to $13 per share from the planned $16 to $18 range, Arc'teryx emerged as what CEO James Seng called a breakout growth story with unprecedented growth. The numbers told the story. Direct-to-consumer revenues were up 40% to $449 million, while wholesale grew 2% to $545 million, demonstrating the success of their retail strategy. Perhaps most telling was the geographic breakdown of their success. China had become Arc'teryx's largest market, where there were more city dweller fans than mountain athletes, exactly the opposite of their US consumer makeup. This global appeal, particularly in Asian markets where technical fashion and quality construction are highly valued, positioned Arc'teryx for continued international expansion. Chapter 7: Engineering the Future. Innovation at the edge of possibility. While Arc'teryx was conquering fashion capitals, their innovation team was working on projects that seemed pulled from science fiction. At their North Vancouver headquarters, filled with machines that had been Frankensteined by in-house engineers to meet Arc'teryx's specific testing needs, the Advanced Concepts team was exploring the cutting edge of performance wear, with a mandate that seemed limitless. Push the boundaries of what's possible in mountain sports and athlete performance. The most ambitious project to emerge from this innovation lab was the Mogo trousers, a product that had been in development for 6 years and represented a quantum leap in wearable technology. These AI-powered trousers were designed to relieve joint pain during hiking and running, essentially functioning as external support systems that could adapt to the wearer's movement patterns and physical needs. Priced at $5,000 for 2025 delivery or $4,500 for early pre-orders, the Mogo trousers weren't intended as mass-market products. They were proof-of-concept pieces that demonstrated Arc'teryx's commitment to pushing the absolute limits of what performance wear could achieve. CEO Stuart Haselden explained the philosophy behind such extreme innovation. There's value in pushing the edges of innovation. Even if those don't materialize into commercial successes, we're taking something from it. We're learning something that we are able to incorporate into our own products. For every MoGo project that made it to market, 5 or 6 others remained in development, each contributing knowledge and techniques that would eventually filter down to more accessible products. Innovation at Arc'teryx wasn't just about individual products. It was about systemic advancement across every aspect of their business. The company had made a strategic decision to take full ownership of their footwear development, which until March 2024 had been handled by their sister brand Salomon. Building a dedicated team in Portland over 3 years, they launched their own footwear line, focused specifically on trail running and mountain sports, deliberately avoiding direct competition with road running brands like Nike and Adidas. This focus on trail-specific performance reflected Arc'teryx's broader philosophy. Rather than trying to be everything to everyone, they would be the absolute best at serving mountain athletes, trusting that this excellence would attract consumers across all categories. The footwear launch represented what Haselden called the single largest economic opportunity in terms of product that the company has, and early results suggested that brand loyalists were indeed buying Arc'teryx shoes for both mountain adventures and urban wear, just as they had with the jackets. Chapter 8: Conquering the World Without Losing Your Soul. Arc'teryx's global expansion strategy revealed sophisticated thinking about how to scale a brand without losing the authenticity that made it special in the first place. The challenge was enormous. How do you grow from a niche mountain gear company to a global lifestyle brand while maintaining the technical excellence and authentic mountain culture that attracted consumers in the first place? Stuart Haselden's approach was elegantly simple in concept but complex in execution. Rather than creating different products for different markets, Arc'teryx would maintain their mountain athlete focus globally, trusting that the authenticity of their mission would translate across cultures and geographies. The focus on major urban centers wasn't about abandoning their outdoor roots. It was about introducing the brand to consumers who might not be mountain athletes, but could appreciate the quality, innovation, and design philosophy that went into every product. The results of this strategy were remarkable. In China, Arc'teryx's largest market, the brand had developed a following among urbanites, who might never climb a mountain, but understood that owning Arc'teryx represented access to the absolute best in technical design and construction. These consumers weren't buying Arc'teryx despite its mountain focus. They were buying it because of that focus, recognizing that the extreme demands of alpine environments produced innovations and quality standards that exceeded anything available in conventional fashion. This global appeal was built on what Haselden called inherent appeal in having the best of anything. Arc'teryx's construction, fabrication, and designs weren't just technically superior. They represented what he described as equal parts technical performance paired with elegant simplicity. This combination proved irresistible to consumers across vastly different markets and cultures. The retail expansion reflected this global thinking, with plans to reach 200 stores total, opening 14 to 15 stores per year. Arc'teryx was building what they called community-oriented shopping experiences that connected with outdoor enthusiasts while remaining accessible to urban consumers. These weren't just retail spaces. They were brand embassies that communicated Arc'teryx's values and heritage while serving diverse local markets. The sustainability aspect of this global growth was carefully considered. Arc'teryx had launched their Rebird program, promoting garment care and upcycling, and introduced mono-material backpacks that simplified recycling processes. They understood that modern consumers, particularly in developed markets, expected brands to take responsibility for their environmental impact. And Arc'teryx's focus on durability and longevity aligned perfectly with these values. Chapter 9: The Art of Strategic Partnerships When Less is More. One of the most fascinating aspects of Arc'teryx's rise to fashion icon status was their approach to collaborations, which flew in the face of conventional industry wisdom. While their sister brand Salomon was pursuing high-profile partnerships with luxury labels like MM6 Maison Margiela, Comme des Garçons, and Sandy Liang, Arc'teryx took a dramatically different approach that emphasized selectivity over frequency, authenticity over visibility. The brand's collaboration history was remarkably sparse but incredibly impactful. The 2020 Off-White partnership with Virgil Abloh wasn't just a collaboration. It was a cultural moment that legitimized Arc'teryx's place in high fashion, while demonstrating how technical innovation could be reimagined as luxury design. When Virgil deconstructed Arc'teryx jackets for his Autumn-Winter 2020 women's wear show, he wasn't just borrowing cool factor from an outdoor brand. He was recognizing that Arc'teryx's construction techniques and material innovations represented the same pursuit of excellence that drove luxury fashion. The subsequent Jill Sander collaboration reinforced this positioning, pairing Arc'teryx's technical expertise with Jill Sander's minimalist design philosophy to create pieces that were simultaneously functional and elevated. These weren't typical fashion collaborations filled with logos and obvious branding. They were sophisticated explorations of how technical performance could enhance luxury design. But what made Arc'teryx's collaboration strategy truly sophisticated was their restraint. As CEO Stuart Haselden explained, "We've been reluctant to do the standard industry convention, if you will, in terms of these types of collabs. We're very careful, we're very picky, and it's something we think about often, and it's something that we continue to explore. When we find the right one, we'll let you know." This selectivity wasn't just brand snobbery, it was strategic protection of what made Arc'teryx special. Every collaboration had to enhance rather than dilute the brand's core identity as the ultimate performance gear company. This approach created anticipation and exclusivity around Arc'teryx collaborations, while ensuring that each partnership felt authentic rather than commercial. The strategy reflected a deeper understanding of luxury marketing. In a world saturated with brand partnerships and limited edition releases, the most powerful move was often to say no. By maintaining high standards for collaboration partners and refusing to chase every trendy opportunity, Arc'teryx preserved the authenticity that made them attractive to collaborators in the first place. Chapter 10: The Future is Technical, where Arc'teryx goes from here. As we look toward the future, Arc'teryx stands at a fascinating crossroads, where their mountain-first philosophy positions them perfectly for several converging trends that will define the next decade of fashion and consumer culture. The brand's commitment to technical excellence, sustainable practices, and authentic innovation places them at the intersection of performance wear, luxury fashion, and conscious consumption, exactly where the most sophisticated consumers are heading. The company's expansion plans reveal ambitious but carefully considered growth strategies, with a goal of reaching 200 stores globally while maintaining the community-oriented shopping experiences that connect with both outdoor enthusiasts and urban consumers. Arc'teryx is building a retail presence that serves as both commercial space and cultural embassy. The focus on major urban centres in Europe, Japan, wider APAC, and Australia reflects their understanding that technical innovation and quality construction have universal appeal, regardless of whether consumers actually climb mountains. Innovation remains the driving force behind everything Arc'teryx does. Their advanced concepts team continues exploring breakthrough technologies like the AI-powered Mogo trousers, while their core product lines benefit from the constant refinement that comes from real-world testing in the coast mountains surrounding their Vancouver headquarters. The rapid prototype to test to refine cycle that made them successful in climbing gear continues to drive innovation across all categories, from footwear to technical apparel to accessories. Perhaps most importantly, Arc'teryx has demonstrated that authenticity scales. Their refusal to chase fashion trends or create watered-down lifestyle products has actually strengthened their position in the fashion world, where consumers increasingly value brands that stand for something meaningful. As CEO Stuart Haselden noted, the appeal of the brand is that we are authentic and that we are designing for the mountain athlete, and we only capture the brand fans because of our obsession and focus on designing performance products. This philosophy positions Arc'teryx perfectly for a future where consumers will increasingly reward brands that prioritize substance over style, function over flash, and long-term value over short-term trends. The sustainability initiatives, from the Rebird program to mono-material backpacks, demonstrate that Arc'teryx understands their responsibility as a global brand, while staying true to their core mission of creating products built to last. The arc of Arc'teryx's evolution, from Dave Lane's basement workshop to global fashion icon, represents more than just a business success story. It's a masterclass in how authenticity, innovation, and unwavering commitment to excellence can create cultural relevance that transcends original intentions. As technical performance becomes increasingly valued across all aspects of consumer culture, Arc'teryx is positioned not just to participate in that future, but to help define it. And there you have it, the extraordinary journey of Arc'teryx. From a climbing gear startup in a Vancouver basement to one of the most coveted brands in both outdoor performance and high fashion. What makes this story so compelling isn't just the business success, but the way Arc'teryx has stayed true to their founding mission while accidentally becoming a cultural phenomenon. They've proven that in our increasingly complex world, consumers are drawn to brands that represent authentic excellence, technical innovation, and uncompromising quality. Whether you're a mountain athlete tackling alpine routes or a fashion enthusiast navigating urban streets, Arc'teryx offers something increasingly rare: products that are genuinely the best at what they do. As we've seen throughout this deep dive, the Dead Bird logo has become much more than outdoor gear branding. It's become a symbol of functional luxury, technical mastery, and the idea that the best tool for the job is always worth having, regardless of where that job takes place. The future looks incredibly bright for Arc'teryx as they continue expanding globally while maintaining the mountain-first philosophy that made them special in the first place. From AI-powered performance wear to sustainable manufacturing practices, from carefully curated collaborations to community-focused retail experiences, Arc'teryx is writing the playbook for how technical brands can achieve cultural relevance without losing their souls. Thanks for joining us on this fascinating exploration of one of fashion's most unexpected success stories. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Arc'teryx, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Velvet Beauty Hub, and hit that bell icon so you never miss our latest fashion stories. In the comments below, let us know, do you own any Arc'teryx pieces? What draws you to technical fashion brands? And what other brands would you like us to explore in future episodes? Until next time, keep exploring the stories behind the styles that shape our world.